Hello, this is chapter 9. So we are going to discuss about balancing demand against productive capacity. So it includes fluctuation in demand threatening service productivity, managing capacity, analyze pattern of demands, managing demand, inventory demand through waiting lines and reservation, and inventory demand through our reservation system. Now let's talk about fluctuations in demand threatening service productivity. So when we talk about productive capacity, it's defined as maximum production or output which can be made in business with the help of available resources. The capacity is calculated over days or weeks or even months. So the measurement is done in a way that we can adjust our production capacity according to the demand from the market. It can also be understood as to how you manage the available employees, time, and resources in the most efficient way possible to fulfill the demand. Such decisions take time and are dependent on multiple factors like raw materials should be readily available, somewhat ready whenever required so that they can be used whenever needed. So this is true, especially during seasonal demand. For example, requirements of candies during Halloween. So the decorative idea sale would increase around Christmas in such cases. So the company has to have ample amount of stock to fulfill market of demand and so forth. Now let's talk about demand. It's a very important factor in capacity dilemma. So first, excess demand. So more demand than what we can offer, customer can be denied service and business is lost. Second, demand exceeds optimum capacity. So no customer are turned away, but there will be a delay or a drop in service quality. Third, optimum capacity. So the supply and demands are well balanced, so the service is good, staff are busy, but not overbooked. So last is excess capacity. So the demand is below ideal capacity and service is underutilized. Addressing the problem of fluctuating demand. So first, addressing problems and of fluctuating demand. So adjust the level of capacity to meet demand. So second, manage level of demand. So for example, so if I am an artist and die, so the supply of my art becomes fixed or diminishing. So this fixed supply plus a large demand of a quality work can set a huge price. So what I only have example is my homemade painting. So if the price of supply of the castle painting is zero, so since no matter how high it rises, no more can ever be produced.
Managing capacity. This refers to the act of sensing a business, maximizes its potential activities and production output at all times under all conditions. Capacity can be stretched or shrunk. It can be increased or decreased to match a varying demand. So the demand is varying. Now, let us look at how to increase or decrease the capacity. Alternative capacity management strategies. The actual level of capacity remains unchanged, and more people are being served with the same level of capacity. The same capacity is stretched to absorb extra demand. For example, the normal capacity of a subway car may offer 40 seats, but at rush hour, up to 100 passengers can be accommodated in jam-packed condition. The second is to utilize the facility for longer or shorter periods of time. For example, the banks extended their opening or closing hours during weekdays, and universities may offer evening classes and weekend classes. so that the demand meet the capacity. The third one is the average amount of time customers or the third one is the average amount of time customers or their possessions spend in process may be reduced. Sometimes it is achieved by minimizing slack time. For example, a restaurant can buzz tables, seating the arriving diners, and present menus fast, and the bills can be presented promptly after the meal. So without reducing the customer experience, more number of customers can be served at the same time. The third one in managing capacity is adjusting capacity to meet the demand. So unlike the previous option, this involves tailoring the overall capacity to match the variations in demand. So this strategy is also known as chase demand. Analyze patterns of demand. Now for that, you need to understand the patterns of demand. It has a certain pattern. It follows with a segment device. Each segment behaves differently. So as a marketer, have the data of each and every segment, their needs and their demands. Along with that, use of softwares to track the record of each and every new details to keep the record of the weather conditions which are not in hand, but still things which are predictable and things which are not predictable. Now, in this figure of predictable demand patterns and their underlying causes, well, things which you can predict in advance, use them as a daily, monthly, or yearly, even for that matter, the thing which are ready on you because of that. And then the causes can be employment or pay days, school days, can be employment or pay days, school hours, holiday seasons, or seasonal climate changes. Next is underlying causes of randomly changing demand levels are certain things which you cannot predict. 1. Day-to-day changes in the weather. Second is health events or problems whose occurrence cannot be pinpointed exactly. So you will find that several times there is a swine flu break, COVID-19, and so on. So in this case, these things are generally random. And also accidents, fires and crimes. Natural disasters such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, mudslides. So in this case, this demand can change it randomly. But be prepared for the same as well.
Of ordering, storing, and using company inventory. This includes the management of raw materials, components, and finished products, as well as warehousing and processing such items. A company's inventory is one of the most valuable assets in retail, manufacturing, food service, and other inventory-intensive sectors. A company inputs and finished products are the core of its business. A shortage of inventory when and where it's needed can be extremely detrimental. Inventory examples. While accountants often discuss inventory in terms of goods for sale, organization, manufacturers, service providers, and for-profits also have inventories that they do not intend to sell. The reason for holding stock inventory into raw materials, work in process, finished goods, goods for resale, stocks in transit, consignment stocks, maintenance supply. For example, manufacturing. A canned food manufacturer's materials inventory includes the ingredients to form the food to be canned, empty cans and their lids, coils of steel or aluminum for constructing those components that will form part of it. That will form part of a finished can.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shaina Gamad, and I'll be discussing about the perception of waiting time. Mostly people consider waiting as a negative thing. It is because of employees and customer experiences where people need to wait for a period of time. They become frustrated, annoyed, and angry. They feel like they are wasting their precious time and others is not valuing it. So we have these 10 propositions to make waiting more bearable. So the first one is an occupied time feels longer than occupied time. For example, when you're sitting around with nothing to do, time seems to crawl. Thus, many service organizations give customers something to do to distract themselves while waiting. Let's say doctor's clinic, dental clinic, they have their magazines so people could read while waiting, or TV so people could watch while waiting. And also the best is Wi-Fi so people could enjoy browsing through internet by their mobiles. That's the best, I think. Or hotels, they give complimentary drinks so people could enjoy. I think there's a lot of way that an organization can do to make their customer feel comfortable. Second one, we have the solo waits feels longer than group waits. This happens when people are waiting by their own. They experience a longer sense of time than if they are with someone or with a group in that particular area. Because conversation with friends can help to pass the time, and some people are comfortable conversing with each other or conversing with a stranger while waiting. Let's say in clinic, so pedia. So there's a lot of mommies or babies. Then, of course, they approach to each other so they could have a conversation, and by that they get distracted while waiting for the doctor to come in. And baby two can play with each other, so they won't get bored. Third one, we have physically uncomfortable waits feels longer than comfortable ones. One of the most frequently heard comments when people are forced to stand in line for a long period of time, and whether sitting or standing, a wait seems more frustrating if the temperature is too hot or too cold, or that particular area has no protection from rain. So, customer people get really annoyed if they are not comfortable while waiting. So that organization or that company should offer a chair so customer feel comfortable. And or fourth one, we have pre and post process waits feels longer than in process waits. Customers are typically more patient during the core service delivery process than before it started and it's completed. Let's say waiting to buy a ticket to enter a theme park and waiting to ride on a roller coaster once you're in the park. There's a difference between that. There's also difference between waiting for a coffee to arrive and waiting for the server to bring you the check once you're ready to leave. And also example of this could be requesting a customer to complete a form as soon as they enter a location. This activity brings them in process, reducing the sense of waiting that they feel for the remainder of their experience. Again, medical practices often do this. Fifth one, we have unexplained waits are longer than explained waits. So waiting seems to last longer when we don't know why we are waiting. So it is nice if we inform our customer or our clients of what are those reasons or how long it takes to be their turn. For example, in fast food, like if you're ordering a meal, cashier or that personnel will tell you that it will serve you at 25 minutes, or let's say in airplane is delayed in taking off. The captain will inform the passengers of both the expected duration of the delay and also the reasons for the delay. Number 6, unfamiliar wait seems longer than familiar ones. So frequent users of a service know what to expect and are less likely to worry while waiting. But new or occasional users of a service are often nervous, wondering about the probable length of the wait and what happened next. They may also be more concerned about such issues as personal safety, because there are people that is unfamiliar with that service or they are new with that process. So it is nice if there is a personnel or employee that would guide them on what process should take first, or there are instructions that's posted on the wall or any on the part of area, so people could follow that instructions, that process. Number 7, uncertain waits are longer than known finite waits. So although any wait may be frustrating and we can usually adjust mentally to a wait of known length, it is the unknown that keeps us on the edge. That's example. Maybe you've had the experience of waiting for a delayed flight when you haven't been told how long the delay is going to be. So this is the unsettling, because you don't know whether you have time to get up and walk around the terminal, or whether to stay at the gate in case the flight is called any minute. So another example is if you are downloading an app, so you know the length of how long it takes. Example, when you are cashier, if you're paying for your tuition, you will know how long it takes because it will appear on the monitor and you have the number, so you will identify of how long it takes for your turn. So that's it. And number 8 is unfair waits are longer than fair waits. So expectation about what is fair or unfair sometimes vary from that area or from that store. For example, people expected everybody to wait their turn in that line and are likely to get irritated if they see others jumping ahead or being given priority for no apparent good reason. So to avoid this kind of situation, it is nice if they have this called numbering. Like for example, we are paying for our bills, paying for our tuition or our benefits, PhilHealth, SSS. They have their numbers so that everyone will fairly treated. Number 8, anxiety makes waits seem longer. So anxiety causes people to feel that time moves more slowly and makes waiting seem longer. To overcome this situation, this can be achieved through furnishing, color palette choice, music, because using relaxing furniture, calming colors, and soothing music can reduce the sense of waiting. Lastly, we have number 10. People will wait longer for more valuable services. That valuable services will depend on person's perspective. Let's say there are really people that is willing to wait just to get a ticket for a major concert, movie opening, a sports event, because for them it is worth the wait, because they could experience that, or they could see their idols, or they could watch that event, and many more. So the next topic is inventory demand through reservation system. So these are the benefits of reservation. A person is controls and smooths the demand. So of course, by reservation we could control the people go to clinic, like we could limit up to 10 persons or up to 10 patients, like that. And the next one is data captured helps organization to prepare financial projections, plan operations and staffing levels, because by collecting data, it is easy for tracking, for monitoring, for evaluating the progress. And so the next one is benefits businesses, allows management to make sure some time is kept free from emergency jobs. So let's say we could only accommodate patients in a period of time, and after that, those remaining time we could use it for an emergency. Like doctors, they will always have a free time, so if ever the hospital will call because of emergency, then they have their time. Presale service, it is to sell advance as before manufacture or construction, like to presale a planned house. They also have informs and educates customers in advance of arrival, saves customers from having to wait in line for service. So of course, because of reservation, we could advise or inform ahead of time to our customer or what time is their turn. So because of that, it saves time. Characteristic of well-designed reservation system. First one is fast and user-friendly for customer and staff. So of course, reservation should be easy to approach and easy to respond, and staff and customer should be friendly. And another one is answer customer question. Of course, responding by those questions should be quick, so customer won't get irritated. And another one is offers option for self-service. Yes, accommodate preferences. And lastly, we have the flex demand from unavailable for choice to alternative times and location. So of course, if that specific is not available, so we could recommend them with another location or another product. And that's in my report.
Good day, my name is Nalia Joy Ibogo, and I am the last reporter of Group 5, and I will discuss the reservation strategy on focusing yield. So, yield analysis helps the manager to recognize the opportunity cost on allocating the capacity of customers, and there are decision needs to be based on information. First of this is detailed record of past usage supported by the current market intelligence and marketing sense, and realistic estimate of changes of high-rated business. So when firms overbook, increase yield, victims of overbooking should be compensated to preserve relationship. Then let's go to the balancing demand and productive capacity. In moment in time, a fixed capacity service may face excess demand exceeding optimum capacity, demand and supply will balance optimum capacity and excess capacity. And productive resources used for creating goods and services are stretching capacity levels and adjusting capacity to match demand. There are factors that govern the demand, and I will tell two examples: demand by market segments and understand pattern of demand. And the 5 basic ways to manage demand: take no action, reduce demand in peak periods, increase demand on low periods, inventory demand and inventory demand using reservation system. And demand can be reshaped by the marketing strategy. Use other costs and change the product elements. And we most of us are hate of waiting, and it can be also affect the company that are offering service. So waits can be reduced by installing reservation system and managing customer behavior and perceptions of the wait. And also, an effective reservation system can be enables demand to control and should focus on yield and requires information. And that's all. Thank you.